What is going on in the France, and we are for a Monday Night Raw review for, or should I say, Monday Night Rematch review for May 24th, 2021. I am recording this 10 minutes before the show goes off the air because I can't. I cannot stomach another Women's Tag Team Championship match between Nia Jax and Shayna Baszler, Tamina, and Natalya. I can't do it. I was like, fuck this. I'm going to just talk about everything else, and I'll say who wins afterwards because I can't do it. It's going to probably end in an Alexa Bliss magic show. So, we started this off with MVP in the ring. He was waiting with the mic. He introduces the WWE Champion Bobby Lashley within his 5 models. They're different from the women who came out last Monday, so, okay, there's that. He and his ladies marched into the ring as Verk shows us a video package with highlights from last week's Raw, showing Lashley got into it with Drew McIntyre in the opening segment and then lost a non-title open challenge to Kofi Kingston last week. So, the models are booing, which this looks so bad. We get through the video package, the models start booing. Like, that looked terrible. And MVP has to calm them down. He calls for a loud round of applause for Lashley. They go about how his life is great, and MVP brings up the dark cloud hanging over them. That bitter, crass, dark cloud has a name, and it is Drew McIntyre. Lashley talks about beating Drew at WrestleMania 37, then beating Drew and Braun at WrestleMania Backlash, so it's a no-go for Drew. We don't want to see him anymore. MVP says they tried to move on from Drew by issuing an open challenge last week, and Kofi, you thought he was worthy, but the dark cloud Drew just showed up again, and here comes Drew McIntyre, so he says, again. Drew says his business is going to be getting back to WWE title, so he would have won at WrestleMania if it went for MVP. No, you would have won at WrestleMania if you weren't a fucking idiot who listened to somebody calling somebody else's name. Seriously, if you go back and watch the match, Lashley, he yelled Lashley. He didn't say Drew, he yelled Lashley. Drew looked back, and boom. And it's just fucking dumb. Let's see here. If you want, it says, and he would have won a Backlash if it went for Braun. Again, it's because you didn't finish Lashley off, so it was down to you and Braun Strowman. Drew wants his official one-on-one rematch shot, and deep down he thinks Lashley wants the match also to prove himself once and for all that he is the number 1 superstar on Raw. Drew, who is in the ring now, says he could be wrong. Maybe deep down, Lashley knows he doesn't measure up to Drew, and doesn't have any balls. He asks the ladies if Lashley has any. Brings up the loss to Kofi Kingston last week. Lashley argues about the match, and he said, "I didn't lose to Kofi. I lost because of you." Out comes Kofi and Woods. Kofi said they're making some good points, and he knows things move fast out here, but he doesn't want to forget that he pinned Lashley last week. Of course, MVP reminds him, "Did you thank Drew for that?" And of course, Drew says, "You're welcome," which Lashley talks over. Of course, Kofi Kingston isn't too happy with Drew McIntyre taking credit, which rightfully he does deserve to take some credit because he did actually do something to help Kofi win. So they're all arguing everything. Adam Pearce comes out and is like, "Well, I've heard everything that I need to hear. So here's a good idea. How about we have a match? Drew McIntyre versus Kofi Kingston. The winner goes to Hell in a Cell." MVP agrees and says, "That's a really good match. We're going to take the models. We're going to go up here and we're going to watch this match because that is going to be a hell of a match." So, we come back and we have Kofi Kingston versus Drew McIntyre, and this was a long match. By far, a very, very long goddamn match. But, what do you think would happen? Do you think Bobby Lashley would screw Drew McIntyre, hit Kofi Kingston, cause a disqualification, allowing Kofi to get the title shot so it's like, oh, this is Kofi, I'll beat his ass at Hell in a Cell? Or would Drew goad him into hitting him, allowing a DQ to happen? How about Kofi hits a trust fall, goes for a trust fall into Drew McIntyre, who falls into Bobby Lashley. This allows Bobby Lashley, this ends up having Bobby Lashley and MVP jump into the ring and attack both men at the same time, causing a double DQ no contest. Woods tries to get in to help. He gets laid out. Kofi with a Trouble in Paradise to Bobby Lashley, Claymore kick, and that is that. So, that was, that. And they're wondering, what's going to happen? What does this mean? And everybody's like, what does this mean for Hell in a Cell? Well, it means that there's no championship match, or we could possibly have ourselves a triple threat at Hell in a Cell. We get a video package with what happened with Asuka, Charlotte, and Rhea last week. We see a video earlier today with Rhea Ripley confronting Charlotte Flair backstage and wished her good luck into a match because she's going to need it because she's probably going to lose. And then the Charlotte bot's like, but you coming here and trying to play mind games with me shows how threatened you are. I am the opportunity, blah, 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 blah. And then all of a sudden, Nikki Cross shows up and says she can beat both of them and says, maybe one of you should take me on. Flair says, if I didn't have a match tonight, I'd beat you in 2 minutes. And Cross, you're not worth my time. Ripley says, this is why we don't like you, because you talk down to people. And the Charlotte's like, fine, why don't you beat her in 2 minutes? Ripley's like, you're on. I accept, Nikki. And we go to the ring for the next match, which is a beat the clock challenge where Rhea Ripley has 2 minutes to beat the clock. She has to beat Nikki Cross in 2 minutes or she loses. And how do you think this one? Well, the first minute or so, minute 15 seconds, Rhea Ripley is dominating. She's playing around with Nikki, looking like pointing at an imaginary watch on her arm and everything. Nikki fires up. Nikki hits her once. And then Rhea Ripley forgets that she has 2 minutes to beat Nikki Cross. So she's just wrestling a normal match. She gets in the corner, starts kicking her. Ref trying to get her out. 3, 2, 1, bing. Nikki Cross beats the Raw Women's Champion in a 2-minute beat the clock challenge. And that's all you get. Wow. By the way, I'm keeping up while I'm doing this, while I'm talking, I'm thinking, I'm looking back to see what's going on Twitter and stuff to see what people are saying about the main event, and it's brutal. I'm glad I skipped out on that thing. Cross heads to the floor and starts celebrating as if she won the fucking women's championship. Ripley looks on and sees in the ring, and Cross runs around the ring celebrating, but out comes the Charbot. She poses on the ramp as Pirate goes off. Ripley rolls her eyes in the ring. The fake fans boo. And Cross taunts like a little child. Flair points and laughs over what just happened. We go to commercial break with the Charbot pointing at Ripley and laughing at her. This is how you bring Nikki Cross back. Nikki Cross came back last week as a member of the Lumberjack match. Even though she didn't fucking do anything other than, just look like a happy woman to be on TV. And this week, you bring her back. She still has that terrible music that does not fit her. We only heard it when she was sitting in the ring, obviously ready to be a jobber to the Raw Women's Champion. And this is the best you got for her. This is the best you got. And you make your Women's Champion look stupid. Stupid, stupid, stupid. And this just shows how valuable that Raw Women's Championship is when the Charlotte's not winning it or not holding it. Because Asuka, if you look at her last 2 title reigns, the 2 title reigns she had with that championship, or 3, whatever it was, between last year and WrestleMania this year, they were all terrible. They didn't do shit with her half the time. And this is what you get me? This is what you give me. Holy wow. I am just so over this shit. Back from break, we get a promo of the upcoming returning tour again because they had to remind you 25 million times that, hey, WWE's back on tour with a 25-city tour. You had Damian Priest, Jeff Hardy, Dana Brooke, and Mandy Rose, who sounded so robotic, Braun Strowman, so on and so forth, talking about it. It was so fucking stupid. We see what happened at the end of Kofi versus Drew McIntyre. Graves says, as of now, Bobby Lashley is without an opponent in Hell in a Cell. Drew walks in on Adam Pearce. He and Kofi's right behind him. They both are furious. Pearce says he's upset over what also happened. A rematch will take place next week on Monday Night Rematch, match. Where we have matches that happened before again and again. We may get a match that we haven't seen before, but that doesn't matter because everything else is rematch. So here you go. Another rematch for next week. Winner goes to Hell in a Cell to face the champion. Go back to the ring. We have the Showbot 9000 versus Asuka. Okay, good match. Absolutely. Asuka is fucking fantastic. Charlotte is average at best. Asuka makes anybody look good. She is like AJ Styles, but for the women's division. She can make almost anybody. There are some women out there you just can't make look good. Nia Jax being one of them. But we've seen this match a million times. A million fucking times. We don't need to see Showbot versus Asuka again and again and again and again. But what do we get? Asuka won last week, so who had to win this week? The Showbot. The big difference is Asuka won because Rhea Ripley distracted her opponent, while the Showbot got to win the way Kairi Sane won the NXT Women's Championship off of Shayna Baszler by taking the Asuka lock and she flipped over, so she was pinning her. So, of course, she got to win clean because the Showbot puts nobody over clean, but when she wrestles, it has to be a clean win. Just so brutal, man. Just so bad. And I am just so done with this company half the time, it seems. After the match, the Showbot stands tall at ringside. Asuka recovers from the ring. And that's that. Bobby Lashley's backstage getting a massage from his models on the couch, which, by the way, Drake Maverick took a picture of this, and superimposed his head over Bobby Lashley's body, which was kind of funny. A crew member walks in and tells Lashley that Adam Pearce would like to see him. Lashley gets up and heads out as we go to commercial break. We get another return to touring thing, which is, again, just, I'm sick of those. Hey, is WWE going back on touring? I wouldn't know because they told you a million fucking times since Friday. It's fine if you do it once at the beginning of the show and maybe once at the end of the show in a 3-hour Raw. You don't need to have talent telling us, hey, we're coming back. I can't wait to be there in front of you fans again. We know, we get it. We've had AEW with fans since I believe All Out last year. But I'm sick of this. I'm absolutely sick of this. Now, Bobby Lashley and MVP approach Adam Pearce in the locker room. He talks about what happened there. Is this how Bobby Lashley wants to be WWE champion? And says that next week we'll have the same match. MVP and them, of course, are not really happy about this, but Adam Pearce says, if either one of you interfere or even go to ringside, Lashley will be suspended for 90 days without pay. Lashley is furious. MVP backs him up and tells him to save it for Hell in a Cell. Save it for Hell in a Cell. And that is that. Now, Adam Pearce did not mention that he would be stripped of the championship. So, there's that, I guess. We get a video package of the most recent issues between Shelton Benjamin and Cedric Alexander. So, that's right. On Monday Night Rematch, Shelton Benjamin versus Cedric Alexander. Again, another good match. I'm not going to sit there and say these guys aren't fucking good. But here's another thing. Cedric, stop screaming. Stop screaming into the mic. It doesn't help. You need to make your emotion, what do I want to say? Push your emotions a little bit better than that. Hold on. I'm looking for a word here. He needs to direct his emotion better. That's what I'm looking for. Direct them. He just screams and yells, and it doesn't work. It just doesn't work. I'm sorry. So, they had the match. Again, another good match. I'm not going to sit there and say it wasn't a good match. But it's another rematch. Another fucking rematch. We had 2 matches on this show that weren't a rematch of any kind. Well, I could say 3 because I think AJ Styles and Jackson Riker. But that match was terrible. But we only had 2 other matches that weren't rematches. Everything else we've seen time and time and time again. And I'm sick to fucking death of it. Then, we get to what was the best part of the fucking show. By far. Matt Riddle takes on Xavier Woods. This match happened because a couple weeks ago they had an 8-man tag match, I believe it was, The New Day and RK Bro versus AJ Styles, Omos, Jackson Riker, and Elias. Of course, the babyface team won with Randy Orton. But, of course, Xavier Woods and Kofi took an RKO from Randy Orton. The next week we had Kofi versus Randy, a match we've seen time and time again. After Kofi won, thanks to Xavier Woods, Xavier ended up getting shoved by Matt Riddle. Leads to this match. This was awesome. I would rather see a Kofi Kingston, instead of Kofi getting a push, I want to see Xavier Woods get a push. I want to see Xavier Woods win the United States Champion. Xavier Woods is going to be one of those guys that I would love to see maybe one day win the WWE Championship, but it will never happen. Kofi's lucky he got it because it was just by happy accident. But Xavier definitely is not one of those guys that you will ever see in the WWE title picture. The guy is fucking good, though. Go back and watch the match. And him and Matt Riddle just put on a classic. This will definitely be in the top 20 matches of the year, probably. This was match of the night, 100%. Especially with the main event that we had, Shayna Baszler and Nia Jax versus Natalya and Tamina. That was awful. And I didn't have to see it to know it was going to be fucking awful. But Xavier Woods is so underrated. When you look at the New Day from conception to now, Xavier Woods is always the third wheel when it was Big E, Kofi, and Xavier. Now, Kofi Kingston getting another shot, another run on a title feud, possibly. He might be going into Hell in a Cell, the pay-per-view, not the match. It should not be. If Kofi beats Drew McIntyre next week and goes to Hell in a Cell, ain't no fucking reason that match needs to be a Hell in a Cell match. No reason whatsoever. But man, this was just a hell of a match. And the show could not could go up from here. And unfortunately, that's what sucks. A great match, 2 guys who just go out there, give you a banger. What we had in the main event, if this was the main event, I would still have been watching the main event. But no, they gave us that crap that they did. This was, in my opinion, the main event of the show because everything after this was just crap. Crap. Now, the ending was great. We have, of course, RK Bro. They're a tag team that isn't on the same page completely yet. Matt Riddle tries to be this goody two-shoot guy. Randy Orton is Randy fucking Orton. But Riddle misses a floating bro. Woods rocks him with a big strike. Woods blocks a bro Derek once again. Riddle, he hits Riddle. He slaps Riddle with the backhand, I believe. And then, boom. Out of nowhere. RKO. 1, 2, 3. Was it the best looking RKO? No. Was it a good RKO? It was serviceable. It was good for the spot. But yeah. This is one of those matches that you have to watch. You got to go back and watch this match because my goodness was this good. And then of course, from here we just go downhill. So, we see what happened between Elias and them last week. We go to Charlotte versus Raw. Oh yeah, by the way. The Charlotte will get the Raw Women's title match at the Hell in a Cell pay-per-view. So let me get this straight. The Charlotte loses to Asuka last week. Last week she loses. This week, she wins. She gets the Raw Women's title match. So what the fuck does Asuka get? Nothing? I mean, if they give Asuka a Raw Women's Championship match on the road to Hell in a Cell, because we still got 3 weeks, then I'll be like, okay, at least they gave her a title match, whatever. But we all know this is going. 1 or 2 things happen at Hell in a Cell. 1, the obvious happens and Charlotte wins, clean as a whistle, no, making Rhea Ripley tap out. Or 2, Rhea wins because of some stupid, nefarious means. That's all there is to it. So, yeah, Charlotte will be your Raw Women's Champion in due time. Now, AJ Styles took on Jackson Riker. This match did not last long, and man, people are pissed about the outcome. AJ goes to get back into the ring, but Elias comes out of nowhere because these 2 men came out of the match by themselves. So Elias comes out of nowhere with the ref's back turn, hits a running knee out of nowhere, hides in the timekeeper Erica. Riker takes advantage and gets the pin in the win, and AJ Styles got beat in relatively a squash match to Jackson Riker. Now, I do complain when champions lose, but this is another one of those where the champion got beat because of another person screwing him. So here, after the match, Omos comes down. You have Elias who's still hiding in the timekeeper's area. Omos comes over. They get this great shot of Elias just hiding. And Omos towering above him, just looking down at him. It's one of those caption this. Like, if you find it on Twitter, because I know WWE on Fox put it out, caption this. And holy shit, does that look scary. But he pulls him out. He throws him towards Jackson Riker. He chases Jackson Riker and Elias away. And this dude can fucking run. Man, somebody his size, and they said it on comedy, somebody his size should not be that fast. Well, he runs up the ramp. Jackson Riker disappeared, but Elias, he just runs in and bull rushes this guy and shoots him into the LED board. And they do the little breaking special effects, and that was that. He goes back in to help AJ Styles. So, then we get Humberto Carrillo versus Sheamus again. So on Monday Night Rematch number 465, we have another rematch. We get another hype of the return in July. God, I can't wait till July is over and we're into August now, because this is just getting nauseating as fuck. So, you have the match. Carrillo ends up getting beat by a handful because of a handful of types roll up. That is that. After the bell, Sheamus attacks Carrillo with the booze, and the fake boos get louder. Sheamus, I cannot wait till we're out of the Blunder Dome. I cannot wait till we're back in front of real fans and we don't have to hear canned sounds. I just can't wait. Carrillo, he applies the cleverly submission, and Ricochet, out of nowhere, flies in the top rope, breaking the hold. Carrillo drops Sheamus next. Ricochet with a shooting star press. Carrillo nails a big 450, a big flying moonsault. Ricochet comes back in with a springboard 450. The 2 high flyers take turns on the Celtic Warrior. Sheamus retreats to the floor as Ricochet and Carrillo stand tall in the ring. Great to see Ricochet getting TV time, but will he be a chance to win the United States Championship? Probably not. So this is just because basically they're using Ricochet and Humberto Carrillo right now to do something with Sheamus because they don't have anybody. They're more focused on the WWE Championship. But it's like you just had Xavier Woods and Matt Riddle give you the match of the night and one of the best matches I've seen on Raw in a while. Why don't you make Xavier Woods? Why don't you build Xavier Woods up? Give him a push. Give him a chance to win the United States Championship. And fight for the United States Championship. Why has everything got to go to Kofi? Yes, Kofi had his fucking moment. When the fuck does Xavier Woods get his singles moments? Come on now. Kofi has had many singles and tag moments. Xavier Woods has only had tag team moments, really. And then we have the main event. Again, I didn't watch it. I do know that Reginald came out. He wasn't supposed to. I looked at a couple things on Twitter. It was bad. It was as bad as I thought it was going to be. Reginald comes out, but Shayna Baszler sends him back. And as Reginald is leaving, boom! Big thing of fire. I watched it. It was on Twitter. Someone put it up. Boom! Big thing of fire. And Natalya rolls up Shayna Baszler. So Shayna Baszler once again gets pinned. And next week, apparently, Reginald and Shayna Baszler will have a match. Good fucking grief. That was your main event. Over Xavier Woods and Matt Riddle, a match that people actually gave a shit about. I don't care about the women's tag team titles. I have not cared about the women's tag team titles since the Moronics won them. So, yeah. Monday Night Raw ends just like that. I don't give a shit about rematch after rematch after rematch. And this has got to be it. This has got to be it for Nia and Shayna. And Shayna should be killing everyone in the women's division to get the Raw Women's Championship. That's what she should be doing. None of this stupid shit. So yeah, apparently next week we get a match next Monday between Shayna Baszler and Reginald. Okay, I think that will be just her beating the shit out of him as it should be, and that is all you can say about that. So, again, we are 3 weeks away from Hell in a Cell, and nothing was fucking accomplished. We could have had a championship match added at Hell in a Cell, but they wouldn't extend that a week, because we need rematch after rematch after rematch, rematch week. It's Monday Night Rematch, where we have nothing but rematches that you have seen time and time and time again. I hope you love rematches, because that's all you're getting. And Shayna Baszler versus Nia Jax. Versus Reginald. I don't know. This company is just so bad. Why is SmackDown? I know it's a lot of it has to do with the 2 hours as opposed to 3 hours, but they've got to do better than this. They really gotta do better than this. Oh wait, we do have a women's title. We do have one title match. We have a women's title match. So, yeah, Hell in a Cell, a one-match card right now. It will be 2 next week, apparently. We'll have to wait and see what happens there. But, yeah, I really am not caring about this shit. Because it's the same shit every week. We have rematch after rematch after rematch after rematch. Hey, you want that Xavier Woods versus Matt Riddle match? We're going to give it to you next week in a rematch. 50-50 booking all the fucking way. Because that helps absolutely nobody. You know how Kenny Omega and Jon Moxley have wrestled both twice for the AEW World Heavyweight Championship? Yes, those are rematches technically. One was in a singles match, one was in a barbed wire death match. You know how long it was between those 2 matches? 2 months. At least. 3 months. 3 months, I believe it was. 3 months between one match and the other. Having one tag team match, Falls Count Anywhere with him, and Lance Archer versus Kenta and Kenny Omega. So, that's a feud. You don't have to have rematch after rematch after rematch to have a good goddamn feud. Everything is just the same with this goddamn company. Look at Rey Mysterio versus Seth Rollins last year. How many fucking matches did those two have? Every single fucking month from post Money in the Bank Monday Night Raw until Seth Rollins went away at Survivor Series. It was Rey Mysterio versus Rollins on Raw, then on SmackDown. Enough. I just do not want any more of this shit. Come on already. But that is your Monday Night Raw review. It sucked. It was rematch outside of 2 matches because Kofi versus Drew was good until the ending. And then, of course, you had Xavier Woods versus Matt Riddle. I want to see when one of those is champion. I want to see that match again. But not until they are fucking a champ. Until one of them is champion. No, nothing else. I don't want to see. And I don't want to see these guys. Unless it's OK Bro versus the New Day. Which I'm hoping is coming soon. Because that actually feels like that would be a great thing. I don't want to see anything else. I don't want to see these guys anymore. But That is your WWE Raw review. Hit that subscribe button, comment down below, like or dislike this video. Find me on Minds at the Frowns Club. Find me on twitch.tv/the Frowns Club. And find me on Instagram at the Frowns Club. And I will see you guys to Wednesday. For the go home, I'm sorry, not Wednesday, Friday. That's right, Friday. For 4 hours of professional wrestling review. Until then, my name is The Frowns, and I'll see you guys later.